Welcome to the Northwest Bruin Football Show. I'm the head coach, Josh Robinson, and we welcome you here as we are coming off a big victory over a local rival in Coahulla Creek, 35-31. It's very entertaining high school football game, back and forth. I think we had a really good crowd there. I'm really thankful for the support that the Bruin community showed for our guys. It's always a fight. Every single week's a fight. It's not easy to win. I say that all the time to our players. I'll say that to a camera. I'll say that to a reporter. It doesn't matter who you're playing, when you're playing, especially in a game like this where there's a lot of emotions. We suffered a disappointing loss last year, and there were events that upset some of our players and those kind of things. And so that carries over, and they got to try to harness those emotions and go out and play and execute during a football game. And that's exactly what they did. We weren't perfect. We made several mistakes. But it is what it is, and at the end of the day, our guys played well enough to win, and that's the name of the game. Offensively, we had limited possessions in the first half, committed a couple or in the first quarter, really. We committed a couple of penalties. Coahulla did a good job of hanging on the ball, kind of milking the clock to keep our offense off the field, and we still ended up with a 400-yard night, which is really good for any offense. And it started with Owen Brooker, who was 30 for 40, passing with 371 yards, 2 touchdowns. Owen would tell you, if he was sitting here right next to me, he hasn't played his best game against Coahulla any of the 3 years. His first start ever was against those guys his freshman year, and I believe the other night was his 40th start for the Northwest Bruins. He's never really played a great game like he is capable of, and he played a great game on Friday. Doesn't mean he was mistake-free, because he's a human being just like me, and calling the defense, Coach Fisher, calling the offense but at the same time, he had a really productive game for us. Rushing-wise, Dominic Johnson came on for Cameron Collins, again, who's nursing a high ankle sprain and ended up with 5 carries and 22 yards, and that's not many yards, and we definitely want to rush for more, but those yards were tough, and he had some big catches as well. Owen Brooker had 10 carries for 16 yards, a lot of them on quarterback scrambles where he did a really good job of getting back to the line of scrimmage, but then the game-winning touchdown was a 14-yard carry by Owen, so really big play for him as well. And then Caden Ramsey had 1 carry for 4 yards and a touchdown. Caden really likes offense, played offense his whole life, but he likes defense too, and right now that's where we probably have the biggest need for him, and he did a good job in his limited reps this past Friday. Receiving-wise, we came in with a really good night, not perfect, but a good night. Hudson Gray had 10 catches for 111 yards, didn't score a touchdown, and is still happy, and that's one of the things I love about Hudson is he's out there to play football. I think he's like every human being that plays receiver or running back or quarterback. They want to score, but when it's not, it's about the team, and we ended up winning. Isaiah Foster had 6 catches for 102 yards and a touchdown. Isaiah is a guy who has, again, transferred from defense to offense, doing great things. Had a big fumble the other night that I know he wishes he had back. Had a drop that I know he wishes he had back, but he's learning the position. He's starting to play the game the right way, playing hard, and he's going to be a big threat for us, and we really like the way he came back after the fumble to perform for our football team. Braxton Floyd came on with 5 catches for 51 yards, one with a 33 long on a reception. So Braxton had on that particular play, went up and fought for the ball. Coahulla was kind of in position to intercept it, and he fought for the ball and came down with it. So really good night by Braxton. Kendris Douglas continues in his reps to take advantage of them. He had scored in the scrimmage game in the first football game and also back in the spring game. He didn't score this game, but the 43-yard reception, I believe, was on 3rd and long, which was a huge play. Austin Cooley came in with a great night again, had a drop, didn't play football last year in a big environment with big things going on, filling in for Jace Talon. He continues to take advantage of his opportunities and had 4 catches for 35 yards. A couple of them were absolutely huge over the middle and was able to secure them as people were bearing down on him. Dominic Johnson, we've already discussed at running back, also had 3 catches for 24 yards. Again, we got 56 yards out of our running back, plus with Caden Ramsey and on his carries and stuff. We ended up rushing for around 80 yards and getting about 20 yards of receptions out of him. Caden had 1 catch for 5 yards and a touchdown as well. So overall, it was a very good night for our offense. As our defense cleans up some mistakes and gets them more possessions, I think our offense can be very potent. at this time, let's take a look at the first half highlights. Here we go as we enter the field. I can imagine, you know, as a coach, I'm excited to get to coach in a game like this, and I know our players are really excited to have the opportunity to come out and play with a big crowd in front of us as Ike Ralston gets some big pressure there. Leaves it high with Hudson Gray on the defense, and then we got a big tackle by Dominic Sistrunk and pressure applied again by Connor Cummings. Here we are on third down, and he kind of scrambles, and as we move, and Ike Ralston gets called for a late hit there, probably a little questionable, but I understand we need to protect quarterbacks, and we end up extending the drive. Good tackle. I see Gian Gomez and I believe Jake Billing in on the tackle there for us. And really the difference in this year and last year is we were able to control the line of scrimmage. We really, as you can see, Jax Brooker stand them up and getting a stop there. There we give up an opportunity for it to be a really big play. And although we, you know, Connor does a great job applying pressure, we'd really like to get that sack. There's Colton Harrington, needs to work just a hair flatter across as he makes the tackle, but we got a host of Bruins, and they're trying to run it again. And really early on, we kind of set with, y'all are not going to be able to run your traditional stuff and run the ball against us. We came out, went 3 and out, ended up there. There should have been a sack based off even off of the current rules where you can throw it away out of the pocket. But nonetheless, they end up scoring and go up on us 10-0. There's a long pass play to Hudson Gray on a completion from Owen Brooker down inside the 5-yard line. And here on second down, we have Caden Ramsey catch it coming out of the backfield for us and ends up scoring to cut the lead to 10-7 as Grant Holder adds the extra point with Braxton Floyd holding and Jax Brooker snapping. So with 10 minutes left, we're down by 3. They're running the counter again. Good fit by Jax. A little late seeing it there by Caden, but he ends up getting a big hit on the running back. Good job by Ike Ralston fighting outside. Dominique's got to fight outside a hair more, but a good job extending that play. They end up, I believe, having a big completion down the sideline on third down. Again, something we really need to improve on. They're sprinting out. Connor Cummings applying pressure, making him kind of fade away as he's throwing the ball, and Reese Cowart on the coverage right there. Coming back on third down, we get a big stop right here and make them go to fourth down, and we kind of make a fundamental error by backpedaling in the end zone. They catch the ball in front of us and go up 17-7. But in the end, we got a penalty to start with, so we've got to cut that out. End up picking up a big gain there and resulting in a third and short, get the first down. Then we would complete one over the top to Isaiah Foster, who again is a super explosive player. With a really good future in front of him. We got our O-line. We had 3 sophomores that started for us, Cooper King, Landon Eubanks, and Caden Kreisel for us. So good protection by those guys. Owen throws a beautiful ball, and they end up throwing it in the flats here. Raven Foster kind of with the pass breakup as he commits or has good coverage on the sideline. Good tackle by Mason Mays and Miles Mays and Jackson Holt on the play. Some pressure by Caden Ramsey, and they end up kind of throwing the ball away again and have to punt in the situation. They only punted, I think, 4 times on the night, and 3 of them, I believe they went with a quick kick to try and make us think they were going for it on fourth down, so we couldn't get a rush. We end up going out on defense and stopping them here towards the end of the half. It's starting to go down. We get a big stop. Use the timeout there. That's why we save our timeouts to the end. It's third down and kind of long, and they run a slant. Caden Ramsey reads it perfectly and returns it for a touchdown to give the Bruins the lead right before halftime, 21-17. Great job by our defense. They could have went down the field. They're very talented at receiver and quarterback and protect well. Not only we stop them there, but we come back here and kind of force them into punting to us. They're trying to run the clock out this time, and we end up tackling them. And on fourth and short, they quick kick it to try and get good field position. It was a good kick. They didn't necessarily thankfully didn't get a roll. We weren't able to capitalize. We did get down inside the 10 right at the end of the half, and ultimately go into halftime with Northwest 21, Coahulla Creek 17. Welcome back to the Bruin Football Show. Let's talk a little bit about our defense. I thought our defense started the game with a good stop, and then we committed a late hit. Coahulla did a good job of extending the drive out, coming out with some points, and we just didn't play particularly well the first quarter and a half. It wasn't all bad. We had some good plays, but then we would make some huge mistakes and allow them to extend some drives. We got to find a way to get people out. We talk about that a lot and be something that we continue to emphasize as we go. On the night, we ended up with a lot of quarterback pressures. Miles Mays had 2 tackles, a tackle for a loss, and 5 quarterback pressures. Really sick during the game, and we didn't think he was going to play, but came in with a very productive night for us. Colton Harrington, stats aren't going to jump off the sheet, but he had 2 tackles, a tackle for a loss, and a quarterback pressure. He played so much better than he did the week before, so it was encouraging to see that. Bryce Bryant had 4 tackles, a tackle for a loss, and I believe the only sack that we had on the night. Increased his role, increased his productivity, and increased his percentage. So really good things out of him. We're looking to extend more. Avery O'Neal, again, a first-year guy on varsity, first time he's played football in 5 years or so. Ended up with a tackle and 3 quarterback pressures, so a really good night. And then Jake Billings probably had the most productive night per play that we've had. He had 3 tackles in a limited amount of plays and played really well, so much better than he played against Pepperell, so we're excited about that. He's worked really hard, and we love the kid and want him to earn the opportunity to be out there. Jackson Holt had 2 tackles and quarterback pressure. Good job by Jackson. Again, kind of the theme, played better than he did against Pepperell, which is a good thing. Gian Gomez, one of our O-linemen, came over, also contributed on defense with 3 tackles and a tackle for a loss and a quarterback pressure, and his reps over there are going to be limited, but we're going to find that, as the weather cools down, he's going to be involved more and more. Ike Ralston, coming off a big game against Pepperell, had 10 tackles, a tackle for a loss, 2 quarterback pressures. He made a couple mistakes that I know he wished he'd had back, but overall, still playing the game the best he's played over the last couple of years as a starter. Connor Cummins had 5 tackles, a tackle for a loss that ended up being what got us the ball back and allowed us to go win. And then 5 quarterback pressures as well. He made a couple of mistakes on a drive that wasn't his fault by himself, but we ended up giving the lead up on, and he responded very well to my challenge for him to come back and play like he's capable of by getting a stop, and just played really consistent all night long. Jax Brooker came in with a more of a Jax Brooker type night with 8 tackles. His opportunities, him and Caden inside, were still limited because of the amount of times they tried to throw the ball or run it on the perimeter with quarterback scrambles and such. But a really good night out of Jax, definitely an important part of our football team. Then Caden Ramsey had 4 tackles, 2 pass breakups, an interception that he scored on as well. Huge swinging momentum. I believe it was 2nd, 3rd down and long, and he was able to read the quarterback's eyes. Connor gave a little bit of pressure, and he picked it off, returned it to give us the lead before halftime. Dominic Smith came in with 4 tackles. Dominic's got to be more consistent with his footwork. Struggled in the 2nd quarter with that, but he's one of our seniors we're going to rely on heavily, and I know he's going to work to improve on anything that he sees that he may have done wrong. Reese Cowart, coming off of a pretty big sickness, had 4 tackles and a pass breakup. The beginning of the game was really rough for him, and then he kind of settled in, but really he missed the Pepperell game, so it was his first week really playing football. Raven Foster's another guy, sophomore for us, one of our sophomores playing, had 8 tackles, started the game a little slow and got better and better as the game went. Isaiah Foster came over from offense and contributed on defense to us for us with 3 tackles and a pass breakup, exactly what we expect out of him. Braxton Floyd and Hudson Gray also played a dual role where it's going to be a theme. Those 3 guys are going to be rotating at corner, at safety, and then we've got Raven, Reese, and Dominique, who are kind of just defensive guys, and we're going to have to use those guys in a group and try and improve, and I know those guys will do everything they can to get better. At this time, let's take a look at the second half highlights. Here we start the second half. We receive the ball, get a good return up to about the 31-yard line, throwing the screen. Owen gets a little bit too much pressure. Hudson does a good job of running back, and I know that's only a 3-yard gain, but it looked like it was going to be a 2-yard loss. So that's a really good play. We end up getting a first down going forward. Huge catch by Austin Cooley, definitely earning some minutes for us as Tally returns. We'll be deeper and more talented with him once he gets back, but Cooley's done a great job. There's a good first down reception by Hudson Gray as he catches the ball, and there's another huge catch by Austin to keep our drive alive across the middle. We end up with a huge first down on a big play, and we throw a corner route right here. They kind of have Hudson double covered, but ultimately we get down inside the goal line, and Caden's got to get his a little bit of speed about him there. He kind of runs in slow, but he finds his way into the end zone to go up for us and adds an extra point to kind of put us ahead and kind of in control of the game, 28-17. We get an early stop here, get some pressure on the quarterback. He throws a bad ball, and I believe the next play he took it 60. We had a couple of mistakes in there, and they get it down. And really, if we get them out there, the game is definitely not over, but we feel a lot better with 11-point lead and the ball. Gian Gomez almost makes a big play, and there's Connor Cummins a little slow on this play. That's something we need to remember as the game goes on. We talked to him about getting a little faster and being more aggressive to take this away. Caden Ramsey almost comes up with another huge interception on the play, but in the end, Coahulla ends up scoring to make it 28-24. Big catch by Austin Cooley on 3rd and short. They blitz right into the run, and we're running an RPO. We end up receiving it. Owen has all day to throw here, which is a big deal. Good job by our O-line, and there's Kendris Douglas, Ken making a huge catch for us as a sophomore, again contributed. We had several sophomores contribute for us, so that's a really good sign for the future of our football team there. Owen does a good job, pulls it down. We end up throwing an interception. Our receiver slipped. We want to definitely keep them hemmed up back here, but they complete a long pass to the Dominguez kid. Their quarterback is a good player, in case had and Dominguez had a good reception, but our defense is flying around. There's Connor again on the same play that resulted in the long run. He plays it better, does a better job. Our DN gets involved more here. We got a sack by Bryce Bryant, who gets his first sack for the Bruins. We end the quarter still with our lead. They quick kick it back to us, so we've got the ball. We're still up by 4, and we definitely need to get something going on offense. I believe we end up kind of struggling, move the ball a little bit. Getting a good punt off. Hudson punted the ball great. There's a tip pass from Caden Ramsey, who did an outstanding job for us. There's pressure by Miles Mays on the pass play on 2nd and long, and Jax Brooker with the tackle for us. And here they are. They having to step up in the pocket, kind of moving around, and they're able to, you know, our D-line and linebackers did an outstanding job of making a talented quarterback move around in the pocket and make him uncomfortable. Here they're on a long run. What sets up to be a long run, but Caden Ramsey makes a tackle and played much better on defense. Again, one of those guys his first year playing high school linebacker, and Isaiah Foster with a huge reception or a defense of a play to keep it from a reception. They end up making a couple of really nice plays and score on it. Here's a long reception, and it's a great job by Braxton Floyd fighting for the ball, and you know, a tie always goes to receiver. They had one like that earlier. And here we are. We kind of commit a penalty to make it 1st and long, and then Dominique Johnson has a big catch for us, makes an experienced defender miss as we get down, and they come back right here and they keep it. We had punted on the play, and there's Connor Cummins. I told you it would be important later. He makes some punt with about 3 minutes left in the game by the same play, and that's just an experienced, good football player. And Connor Cummins making a huge play for the Bruins, and we take over at midfield with 3 timeouts and a couple of minutes left. We feel good about where we're at. You know, we're a hurry-up style offense anyway. Good ball by Owen, good protection. You know, we got to come back to that ball a little bit more, but a good throw by Owen, and when we get down to 3rd down, and huge completion again to Austin Cooley picking up the 1st down. At this point, we're on the 14-yard line. We're throwing the ball. We get it out to Dominique. He catches the ball and gets down to inside the 10. And we snap it again, and here's a long run by Owen. Again, we had 3 timeouts. We felt good. They gave us a box that indicated to us we need to run the ball, especially with our timeouts. And Owen finds his way into the end zone, and Grant Holder adds the extra point, which is huge, but because it makes it where a field goal can't tie us. They have to score a touchdown, which puts more pressure on them. There, Jax Brooker applies some pressure. Still need to tackle him inbounds. That would be huge for us, but a good job of him going where he's supposed to. Good pressure by our guys. We stopped our feet right there and allowed the guy to get behind us. But thankfully, we had applied enough pressure to make the ball get overthrown. We run inside. one of those mistakes I was talking about. We end up causing pressure, and Braxton Floyd has a chance to intercept the ball, knocks it down, and they come back right here, kind of towards the end of the game. Miles Mays had pressure, and so last play, Raven Foster on the coverage. We got a freshman out there, and they end the game with Northwest winning 35-31. So overall, good night for the Bruins as we finish our second game with a 2-0 record. Welcome back to the Bruin Football Show as we celebrate and close up our win against Coahulla Creek. A local rival played really good against us and really hard. And, you know, our guys, to their credit, had fought and came out with a win. You know, and in any football game, there's 50-50 plays. And we made enough this year to ensure that we came out on top, and I'm really proud for our guys, especially our seniors. And you know, and we played 8 sophomores in the game heavily, so you know that speaks well for the future. And we played 4 or 5 juniors, but at the same time, it's going to be one of those games that every year is going to be a fight. Again, I said it earlier, it's not easy to win, so it's definitely going to be a challenge. But more than that, we're looking to peak during our region play, and it was another step as we begin the season 2-0. We definitely would like to move to 3-0 as we take on Ringgold this week. It's going to be a hard-fought football game. As Coach Akins has been at Ringgold a really long time, and we're one of the only teams around here with them that went to the second round of the playoffs. I know he's replacing several key guys just like we are. And they have a lot of talent up there. They have some youth. They have some experience and a very good coaching staff. The offense coordinator, Coach Crisp, is a good friend of mine and does an outstanding job. So it's definitely going to be a challenge as we move forward. But we look to go 3-0. It's going to be senior night. We're hoping to involve all our sports, even if it's not just cheerleading, band, and football in senior night. But if they're not able to attend softball, volleyball, and cross country, we definitely need to go support those guys as they have seniors as well. But come out early. Festivities are set to begin around 6:15, and so get in your seat early and congratulate these seniors that have put in a lot of time and a lot of effort, not just over this year, but over the past years of their career at Northwest High School. Until next week, I'm Josh Robinson with Northwest Football.